sant yàlla.
looy xaar utal Wave nga scan nga fay nag doo ci yokku dara.
Jar Oil, the company, have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
In the Gambia, we all move to different paces. Time is money, convenience is power, and now both are in your hands. No more long lines, no more late payments, no more missed chances. Not anymore. Because now the Gambia has its own super app, Zap. One app, one tap, endless convenience. Send money instantly, pay your bills in seconds, shop without borders, pay your rides, order your meal, buy your ticket, deposit and withdraw money for absolutely free. No extra charges, no hidden fees, only on Zap Super App. This is not just convenience. This is confidence. This is the future in your hands. And the best part, Zap is born right here. Built for us, designed for every Gambian home, every Gambian dream. So don't wait in the past. Step into the future. Download Zap today on App Store and Play Store and enjoy endless free services. Call us today on our toll-free number 1666 or on 260-0001. Zap. All in one. All for you. Tap in. Zap in.
On Monday, the 5th of January 2026, you're with Coffee Time with Peter Gomez, and with us is Essa by Faal. Initially, we are looking at two issues, security and also this backway syndrome. The president has been addressing the backway syndrome at the weekend. Despite government assurances, irregular migration, what we here call the backway syndrome, continues, and whether they want to accept it or not, we are seeing greater numbers of people taking the risk and unfortunately also dying. Why do you think young people are taking every risk, as it seems?
Because of a terrible economic situation at home. A situation in which to fetch gache, you have to go and take the risk of dying to make something rather than just sit here and stay with that gache.
Barca wala Barsah.
Barcelona mba Barsaha. Daf len ko jaral. That's what I always say. Yeah. Okay? If these people think that they can trivialize this, it's a massive problem in Gambia. In 1 month.
The president addressed it at the weekend. I mean, that it shows seriousness.
It's a statement that made me feel ashamed.
How do you mean? And why?
If what he said in Mahmuda is anything to go by, I am ashamed.
What did he say?
What I understood is that, these people are going on suicides. Why are they? But look, the president should be focused on the root causes for this phenomenon. Why are Gambian youths? You know, people are resigning from their teaching jobs, resigning from the police to go back way.
True.
He should ask himself, why are these people doing it? Those who are gainfully employed, those who are educated, are doing it. Let alone those who have no skill, no education, no employment. It's a terrible situation in this country.
Let me ask you, why do you think
2,000 people in the month of November alone? Up to 2,000 people. I don't know whether all of them are Gambians. At least the reports I read suggested that all that 2,000 were Gambians. But it's a terrible tragedy. Look at the month of November and early December were terrible days for Gambian youth. Hundreds and hundreds of people died. And you know what? Government officers went around town partying and dishing out money. It is insensitive.
How do you mean going around town partying and dishing out money?
You haven't seen the videos? The Wali Sekas and all sorts of shows. Look, that should have been a period of mourning for Gambia. We lost hundreds of Gambian youths. It is insensitive for government officers to be behaving in that manner. And the statement of the president is even more disappointing. Yes, people took risks. They had no choice, Mr. President. If they had any choice, they would have stayed here. Well, they had to leave because the economy, the baronomics that we are suffering in this country is killing Gambians. They would rather go out there and die bravely than sit here and still die of starvation, because there is nothing in here for them. Mr. President, you must accept and address those economic realities. The cost of living is pernicious. It is terrible for Gambians. The president must be told the truth. You know, you cannot bury this in beautiful language or blame game. No, the truth is the truth. Gambians would rather go out there and die than suffer under baronomics. And for that reason, the president must reflect again. The 150,000 jobs he promised, they are not there because you have not performed.
Well, they're saying they have failed to capture the data, but jobs are being created.
You see,
and opportunities are being created for people to acquire skills. They talk about the Pt.2 strategy, and you can't deny the fact that...
you know, these are band-aid solutions.
Only band-aid solutions.
Band-aid solutions. We are talking about massive scale. But you give me these band-aid solutions and you beat your chest as if you have achieved big things.
Rather than treat the wound, you just put, bandage over
precisely.
it. Precisely.
Gambia, we don't need little solutions. We need massive solutions. Look, monies come for Gambian youth and women. What happens? Those monies find their way to Yai companies. They put them in and distribute them to who they wish.
Okay, so let's assume those monies keep coming, and now we have an APP Sobea government in place. How would you deal with those monies?
Government must be seen to be serious.
And how would you demonstrate seriousness to us?
According to established procedures. How can you just give AI company some money and they start distributing?
What would you do?
But of course, this money should go to an institution. Everybody who is entitled to should make an application, and the application process. In a Essa Faal government, name where you come from, your religion, your tribe, your language.
Should those things matter?
Those things really would never matter again. Everything would be based on your number. But because we hold on to parochial values, that's why all those things matter now. And everything is seen in a political lens instead of a development lens. And that is why, because they think that by bringing you some element of development, you have to pay them for it. You have to reward them for it. Listen to the president's speeches like, oh, if I am doing for you, you also have to do for me. What? That is illegal.
Isn't that what every politician does?
No. No.
So
no.
Essa Faal brings unprecedented development to Jinak, for instance, where we hear that government officials fear going to.
Yes.
Because they are, and I'll ask you the question later on, whether you'll ever go and campaign in Jinak.
I will.
Okay. All right. So Essa Faal brings development to Jinak. It's a statement of fact. Can't he say that, well, for the past 60, 65 years, Jinak was overlooked.
Yeah.
Jinak was sidelined. And, at least
and therefore,
I have bucked the trend.
And therefore,
does saying this mean that Essa is beating his chest?
No. But if you go further and ask for a reward, a quid pro quo, then it becomes problematic. One of the elements of the TRRC docket was denial of development.
I'm sure Kiang featured somewhere there.
Of course Kiang was the reason. So if our president would go to some place to say, I am taking care of you, but you have to take care of me, that is, in fact, a promise of denial of development if they do not return him in office.
Sadly, tragically even, Forea is reporting today that among those who were caught up in the latest tragedy, the boat that fell, some died, and they escaped. Thankfully, the majority of them escaped. That most of those people who escaped say they will try again.
But of course, that is why I am saying that our president doesn't get it. These people are in a dire situation. It's do or die for them. Faj bumi gachegi. Talk Gambia, fajalulenko. They must go out there.
That must scare you because you need them to stay and vote for you.
Yeah, yes.
So how will you?
But the thing is, we can change it. Look at what the president did to help change the situation.
What did he do?
This secular migration plan. You know, I started talking about secular migration in 2021. What plan did they bring? They went to Spain and get an arrangement for Gambian youth to go and Formango and doctorants.
Yeah, but if you sit here and Formango and doctorants, you don't get paid for it, perhaps. But if you go to...
But we could do better.
If you go to Spain and
we could do better than
€1, you come back home, you have at least $80.
Slave wages, slave contract, and demeaning arrangements for our Gambian youth. You know what? We could have built those farms. We could have created those farms in Gambia. We have the land. Most of our land is lying fallow. It takes 3 to 4 years for oranges and mangoes to start producing. That's all it took. Look, what did they do? They capitalized on that and did a massive 419 on Gambian youths. I call it 419 simply because they knew that they had just a few hundred positions. And they let Gambian youths apply for passports. 10,000 plus applied for passports. Government made over $30 million. People were fighting to be on the line to get passports just because they wanted to have an opportunity at these Spanish jobs. How many were sent? 39. You know what happened?
Was it even up to 39? Was it not about 33 or something, or 36, yeah?
They all ran away. You know what? If you take town boys and you send them to farms in Spain, what do they know about farming?
But it has to worry us, huh? These boys who run away because they remain illegals, and then there will come a time when, they will be captured by the state. They would want to be returned to the Gambia, all right, because of the noise back home here. The Gambia will refuse, and then innocent Gambians will now be penalized.
And who do you blame?
I
blame the government. I blame the government. Look, if you must take people to farm.
Because you look at what is happening now, it's very difficult to travel to the United States.
Yes, it's difficult even to travel to Europe.
Of course.
They dilly-dally and dilly-dally and dilly-dally and you never get the visa.
Yeah. And then if you sit here and say, well, we should accept our quote-unquote illegals back, it becomes a problem. But isn't that the fact?
You know what? It's because of baronomics. The economic realities are such that the people would do everything to make sure that those they have up there will remain there. It's the economic realities. It's baronomics. They would come here and say, oh, it's the situation of the world economics. No. Remember, a country that is at war with one of the biggest superpowers is a country that is feeding us. Something must be wrong with us. Let's be honest. And the government must take responsibility.
What country is at war with one of
Ukraine. If whatever you ask for, you say Ukraine. Grain. Ukraine. It's a country that is at war with one of the biggest superpowers. So for us, it should even be a shame to us that we are depending on such countries. Our governments are not working for us. Our governments are just there, working for themselves. But they are not working for us. You see, they think that Gambians would accept these cosmetic investments that they are making, these little things that they are doing. Our problems are so deep. Our problems are so big. We don't need little interventions. We don't need baby steps or band-aid solutions. We need a massive Marshall Plan for Gambia. A plan that would include changing of the Gambian mindset, changing of our attitudes, changing of the way we do things, changing the way government operates, changing the way we see our relationship with the state. Okay. Let Gambian resources be used only for Gambia. people must stop stealing. Billions are going missing. If those billions would have been invested for Gambian youths, this would not be necessary.
Well, they're going missing. Do we know where they're going?
Well, certainly not for Gambian youths. If those monies were going for Gambian youths, we wouldn't be complaining.
Okay, so what practical alternatives would an APP Sobeya government offer young Gambians who feel trapped?
We will.
Like the young people who have just cheated death, if you like, but insist they will take more risks.
I will tell you of a meeting, community engagement I had in Nema. I was seated with groups of women and youth, and I told them about the APP Sobeya plan for Gambian youths. And suddenly one of the boys got up. Listen, look at his phone. He spoke on the phone and then came to me and just said, let me talk. I said, what? Because I was speaking, and he says, I want to tell all of you, they have just called me to say that I have space in my boat. I have paid over $65,000. I have heard Mr. Faal speak. I am no longer going back way. I will stay here and I will make it in Gambia.
Really?
I swear to God, it's true. You know the reason why? It's because he has had the plan and he is convinced. And he believes all he needs to do is make a sacrifice for a few years, and that plan would come into place, and he would stand on his 2 feet as a man in his own country. Now he does not have that. Okay? So all we need is, go to other countries. Kenya, you go there and you ask Kenyan youth you want to go. Think about it. No. I'll stay here. I'll make it here.
But Kenyan youths are going to Ukraine. The other day there was, this whole documentary on BBC, and they are being lured into, going to fight with Russian forces against Ukraine.
But at what price? Mercenaries is a different business. And it takes a completely different type of person. Okay? But if you go to Kenya, the Kenyan youths, a lot of them have education. They have skills. They have opportunities. Okay. Here, our youths don't have skills. Some have education, but very few. They don't have opportunities. Here in Gambia, I go to my campaigns. I say to the people, in Gambia, the Masoners are, and the people will reply, Senegalese. The tailors are, the people will say, Senegal. Look, because that is the truth.
Okay, but that's not the fault of Malians, Senegalese, Guineans, whatever.
It is the fault of our government.
Why are our young people not learning?
I will not blame the Gambian youths, because they want to make it in life. And that is why they are staking their lives to make it. I blame the government for not investing in the right things. Look at the Meet the People store.
What about it?
52 million was what was voted for the president. God knows how much he will come and declare at the end of the day.
I saw a report that said 30 million was voted and they spent over 52 million.
No. 52 was voted.
Okay.
We now have to wait to see how much was spent. Remember, from early days, he started spending the first allotment was 3 million, and I think he spent way over that. And then the next time he spent about 23. The next time he spent about 30. It had even gone to 65 at some stage. You know what? To just go around the country to ask people what are the problems. My friend.
How would you repackage the Meet the People tour? Town hall approach has been suggested.
Town hall is one. Look, you go to the different communities and organize what works. Bantabas, town halls, closed door meetings, gatherings, because this is a solemn occasion. We are asking about what are the malaise in our society, what are the problems, what are the things that don't work. It is a solemn occasion. It's not about music and dance, Daniel I nak foot and puff. No. This is about the serious problems in our society. Look, you know how I would have done it?
No.
Every council and every governor would write a report about their areas. What are the problems? What are the priority things? What are the biggest problems? And do it sector by sector. You come there and meet with them and discuss these things. And out of that, you come out with a development plan for that area. And that development plan would feed into the budget. You know, here, the national cake, you just put it in Banjul and you say, Dogalal health, Dogalal fee, Dogalal. How about the local government areas? Because there are certain responsibilities that are to them. So development is centralized. I would decentralize it. In fact, this money for Meet the People store, I will divvy it up and give it to the different regions. And each region would have to present to me a development plan for their most pressing needs. And we use that money to help them.
Okay.
I think that the people would appreciate more than the foot and puff that they do.
Just to wrap
the
up
National Mumbai Festival.
Just to wrap up on the killings, especially of Forex Bureau workers and the back way. Do you see a role for society? Do you see a role particularly for CSOs, civil society organizations? And
yes, CSOs.
how can they play their roles?
CSOs can play a role in sensitizing people. But for a hungry man who stands at the river Gambia, looking up, dreaming that if I just cross these waters, my life would change dramatically. It's difficult to convince that person, especially if the person would go home and sleep on an empty stomach that night.
Yeah, but just because you take that risk, find yourself in Europe or whatever your final destination, does not automatically mean a change of life.
Do you think they care?
And
they believe that is better than being in Gambia. Because the thing is, they know. They know what they believe is not right. No, but they know the score. If they would
those
be
of
in
us
Europe,
who know, how can we help them?
Okay, let me break it down for you. If they are in, because the moment you get in, it's very likely that you would be in a refugee camp.
Yes.
In a refugee camp, from what I know, you paid about 600 euros a month.
Oh, you are?
Yes.
Ah.
So, for some people...
That's a pull factor then.
It's a big pull factor.
That's why people like it.
Yeah. So, for some people, they say, okay, if you are a teacher in Gambia, you are earning $7,000. You have 2 wives. You have 6 children.
That's less than €100.
That is, less than 100 euros.
Yes.
So now, you go back.
And you go to somewhere there for doing nothing.
You give in 600 euros.
For being confined in a certain area,
exactly.
you get 600 euros.
So they say, if I would send 200 euros back home, that's already $15,000.
16,000.
Okay, you see.
you are evaluating our dollars here.
You see, because the dollar is depreciating daily by day.
You get minimum,
So
$8.
So with that, and that's just 1/3 of their income, and they keep 200 euros, 100 euros for transport, and 100 euros they contribute for food.
Well, if you are confined in an area, you don't need transport.
No, because sometimes they are allowed to go out. So at least those that I have seen in Holland.
Okay.
And
so
in Germany.
how can society and civil society organizations...
The only thing we can do, because there is no one single intervention that can work. You need interventions from multiple angles, and it has to be coordinated from a well thought out plan. Look, we have to have a plan to change the lot of the Gambian youth. Without that, this back way will not stop. And unless and until Gambian youth see that they can make it in this country, they will continue to go, even at the risk of dying. And that is what, Mr. President, you must know. Put it in your head. Gambian youths will continue to go, unless and until we ditch baronomics and bring sober economics, which is something that will work for the Gambian people. It is serious, it is effective, it is uncompromising in its objective of serving Gambia and Gambia alone.
Gambia first.
Gambia first.
Monday, the 5th of January 2026, we're with Essa by Faal. Now, whenever Essa by Faal is on, we always do more than an hour. That's because people say, well, you can't get Essa by Faal and not get him to say something in Wolof, because he's also got a very large following of people who don't necessarily understand everything that is said in English. I'm not saying they cannot follow, but they may miss quite a lot. And that is why whenever he's here, we spend the last 30 minutes or so just trying to sum up everything discussed in English in Wolof.